Over the weekend, I overheard a boss and an employee speaking loudly beside me when the employee said, "Yeah, someone has to be the scapegoat." As soon as I looked up, the boss's eyes and mine made four. And he said, "This is ridiculous. If you had a coach and four employees and you had to fire someone, who would you fire, the boss or the employees?" When you are under surveillance by the supervisory regime, you constantly find yourself in coincidental situations where people speak on topics related to your situation or your research. So you learn to give people the answers they want to hear. Based on their tone of voice, you always know what answers they're looking for. The coach, because if something is wrong, it's the coach's fault, I explained. "Of course, this is a smart woman," he said. Then he made up a story about his coach that was far from believable, but I went along with it just for listening's sake. I walked away, ensuring I would return when the boss was gone and only his subordinate remained. I told the subordinate, "You know, I was thinking about that conversation with you and your boss, and the truth is, those types of decisions are contextual. Context always matters." Then I told him my story about the supervisory regime and gave him a card to visit the Appreciative Learning Lab website. The worker was not pleased with my new answer, but I didn't care. The truth is, as a qualitative researcher, context always matters, and I can best explain through a rationale of why I decided to discuss how former Chancellor David Banks was scapegoated as the face of corruption in New York City public schools when it was directly or indirectly the supervisory regime. Context allows researchers to give rich meaning to real-world situations through examinations of culture, setting, and historical timing. Limits assumptions based on bias, allows for detailed descriptions to promote credibility, and most importantly, an understanding of the broader context of power dynamics and social structures that influence human experiences. In the wonderful world of education, that means knowledge that environmental culture, along with decision-making, creates a deeper meaning that seeps way below the surface level of understanding. Before continuing, I must make a disclaimer. I do not know the former school's chancellor, David Banks. I have never met or spoken to the former school's chancellor, David Banks. Mr. Banks, I use your name for two reasons. First, I heard years ago that you are politically connected throughout the country. That means many people care about you. They think you are essential and would care if they learn how you were mistreated. Only God cares about me. I can't even get someone to investigate my claims. So for me to get any attention, I need to use an important name such as yourself, just so people will listen and hopefully understand how dangerous these people are to the culture and climate of any school system. Secondly, based on the context of your situation and my experiences with the supervisory regime, I do not believe, even though you were the leader of the system, that you deserve to be scapegoated as the face of New York City public school corruption when I know that you, along with your fraud avengers, stopped the fraud taking place within the special education space. If you knew it was occurring and did nothing to stop it, yes, you deserve to be a scapegoat. However, you immediately sought to address the problem. You are punished for it because that's what the RICO squad does when you question their behaviors. And that's the system that must change for the benefit of children, parents, and school communities. I can say this because besides the collected evidence, that space committed fraud in my name and then stalked and monitored me, slandered my name and defamed my character anywhere they found a human with ears to listen, flagged my resume and hiring system so only their psychological savage friends would employ me, and blocked my licensure abilities at the state level, all because I expected to be paid for my labor. They continually use their external purpose to disrupt my life because I expected to be paid for my labor. You would never understand how it feels to be psychologically and spiritually abused because you wish to be paid for your labor, especially as a Black woman. One of the most damaging effects of the abuse is my forgetfulness and unnecessary stress and anxiety. The type of culture created by people who refuse to follow policies and attack persons who question their wrongdoing is a culture that is dangerous for any human, especially children. So, I apologize if I caused you any trouble or discomfort, Mr. Banks. These people are still retaliating against me, still flexing their power in numbers against little old Cassandra, So I will continue to describe the pathology behind their behaviors with the hopes of saving another person from the distress I experienced. If anyone thinks I am speaking from a place of bias when I say that David Banks was scapegoated and made the face of corruption that he and the fraud avengers stopped, please read the attached Gothamist article and then go read my testimony. Be safe, make good decisions, and have a blessed day.